see how we can use those technologies to create or solve some real life like problem. But also we want to see how some companies or every developer, people are using like Facebook's technology. So thanks for having us here today at AT&T. By the way, I have AT&T. If you have coupon, that would be good. Just kidding. Yes, so I'm gonna hang over with Brian to talk about React Native. Thanks.
All right, and here's the link for the developer circle for anyone who has not already joined.
Are you guys not on like Meetup or something else?
So, because it's the Facebook sponsored developer group, it's on their platform. So, yeah, you can join, and anyone, if you join here, just put in the description something like heard about it from Meetup or attended Meetup, and then we'll add you to it. And so a little bit more about what we do.
Yeah, I was looking at
With the developer circle, we posted a handful of events. We're actually new in Los Angeles. I think the first event was on in August. And so we try and cover a variety of other technologies. This meetup happens to be focused on React, well, React Native, because that's what we are working with here at AT&T. Some of the past ones involved Spark AR for making AR apps, and there's plenty of resources for integrating into Facebook and Instagram and the Facebook family of apps. So if anyone has any suggestions too about topics that are of particular interest, we're certainly open to feedback. And so one of the kind of more exciting upcoming events we have is going to be we're going to do a hackathon in February. So for that, it's going to be open to the public. We're going to host it in Los Angeles. We're still kind of working out the location, but we do have the date set, February 23rd to 22nd. And the grand prize for that will be an all-expense paid trip to the F8 conference, I believe, as well as admission and an opportunity to participate in the very large hackathon that they have at that particular event. So we'll also try and add some more challenges. We'll provide updates too as they come up. So a bit about what we do here at AT&T. We have a whole set of native TV streaming apps. I'm sure everyone who works here is familiar with them, but those who don't, you can download them for iOS, Android, Fire TV, Roku, pretty much all of the top streaming devices. And as a company that actually kind of provides causes some challenges for us, in that we have to support so many different apps which have different languages, different developer environments, and so we have to have a team dedicated to each particular environment. So like for iOS, for Android kind of covers Fire TV too. Roku, though, and Tizen each have to have their own dedicated team, and which means that they also need their own dedicated QA and testers. They also require one of the big issues is we have to try and synchronize the development progress as well. So we can't just release a feature on one platform without it either being released or coming up very soon on another, because it's just going to provide an inconsistent experience. It causes a whole bunch of customer support issues when someone sees that they can record a program on their iOS device but can't do it on their Android phone. So as a developer who's kind of gone through the entire app life cycle, or our previous app, I've experienced firsthand where we had all of these teams trying to struggle to get whatever platform was behind up to speed with the rest of them. So as a solution to that, we recently started migrating to React Native. So instead of having these separate teams working on each individual platform, we just need one team building out the UI on React Native, and, well, a second team, which is kind of a more multidisciplinary. They have to be able to bridge all of these native apps, because React Native doesn't support every platform right out of the box. But as you can see, it still reduces the number of development teams significantly. And on top of that, we don't run into those problems with the apps getting out of sync with each other, and we can QA everything at once. When we push an update to an app, it updates every platform simultaneously, which it increases the efficiency of being able to verify that it's going to work on all platforms and provide a consistent experience. So with that, Tristan?
I guess I don't need to steal that right now, but I'm gonna need the HDMI in a bit. So actually, let me just steal it now. Do I need the light one over there? Oh, can I actually have that? All right. Hello, everyone. Just to say it again, my name is Tristan, and I work with Brian on the React Native development of the AT&T Now remake in React Native. So it seems like most of you are from AT&T. So I want to just give you guys a quick glimpse, if I can share this iPad. I want to give you a quick glimpse of how far we've come, and then just explain kind of what we've been going through and elaborate on what Brian's been saying about unification. So let's see if this comes up. Cool. So the video playback won't show, I don't think it'll show on screen share. We'll see. Yeah, okay, so it's not gonna show up there, but it's not even loading the rest on the screen. I guess that hides all the content. Okay, this is unfortunate.
There is a lock.
Hmm?
Unless the video streams, nothing gets loaded.
Oh, you can see it on my screen is what it is. Okay, so you guys can't view the content. So,
Yeah.
I will,
We have an example of what it, of how it appears, so
okay.
describing.
Okay, so the big idea behind using React Native here is trying to unify the code base, as Brian said. So in that, we started this project about a little less than a year ago, and we've just been testing the limits and seeing how far we can get. Just based on things I've read online, most companies say they can get about up to 80% of consolidated code, and then the rest slightly branches off. So in our case, like, the divergences from not being able to use the same code base comes at like the SDK layer. You need different SDKs, different SDK integrations for the different client platforms. So like if you, for instance, we do a lot of stuff with sending metrics to different platforms. You need a separate integration for Android versus iOS. So in that case, you can't reuse code, but 80% is pretty crucial considering Brian showed we have like 8 apps that we're trying to consolidate, and it just helps us get a consistent user experience, deploy things together, and just keep like things like test code coverage and all that stuff in sync, so you know you have a big idea of how your app goes across all the clients instead of just one, and that keeps it easier. So obviously the appeal of unified code base is great, so we're exploring that. It's also good because I don't know how many of you have actually worked with React Native, but it has the idea of components, and components themselves are reusable. So you're able to drill down a simple component and reuse it all over your app. So for instance, I can't show, oh, you can see the app kind of here. You'll notice if you use our app a bit, there's a lot of places that have like views of carousels and content within the carousels. And if you like clicked on any of those, it displays pretty much more or less the same data in a different spot in the app. And instead of having to like duplicate your pages, you're able to leverage components and say, hey, pull out this carousel item piece and let's reuse it here, let's reuse it here. You can pass different props into your components. So one thing that we kind of did was pass styles along through. So your component can be, hey, I'm a component, I know I have a title, I have a picture, and I have text. But you can pass through a style to that as well. So while one of your views can be, like on the main carousel here, it can be, you can have your image this size and your text this size. You can open up a new view, reusing the same component, just passing a different style. You can make use of your code that way. So that's another cool thing that we've come across using React Native. Also, it's a JavaScript library, so it's very familiar to those who have used JavaScript before. It supports TypeScript. We haven't explored that option in our project, but for those of you who like TypeScript, it supports that as well. The style sheets are very similar to HTML's and CSS, so like styling and just how you display these things on the screen. It's all close to home if you've done any kind of other basic web development and app development. And then it has JSX for rendering the on-view display. So just that's the format you can use to display images and stuff. It's a tag syntax similar to HTML as well. So that's another allure, is already being familiar with what we're using here. So some of the challenges that we've run into when using React Native mainly bubbles down to performance. We're faced with deploying these things to low processing power devices such as Fire TV. We've been trying a bit on Roku too. We've kind of put that aside for now, but it's something not all developers think about. If you're creating a web app, you take for granted how much processing power your computer has. So when you come down and have to put this thing on a Fire Stick, which is made with poor specifications, you really have to focus on how you code and leverage